Greetings, one and all. Welcome back to another episode of Whatever Happened To, the series where we take a where are they now look at players who found success in the National Hockey League but are no longer permanent fixtures in the league, either due to controversy, poor play, or just rotten luck. In today's episode, we are going to be taking a look at an 11-year veteran of the league and a Stanley Cup champion. As we ask, whatever happened to Daniel Paille? After being selected 20th overall in the 2002 NHL entry draft by the Buffalo Sabres, Daniel Paille spent the next 2 seasons in the OHL with the Guelph Storm, where he put up 137 points in 113 regular season games and 32 points in 33 playoff games. As he approached the end of his eligibility in the juniors, Paille was ready to turn pro and eyed a spot on an NHL roster. With a bit of hard work, patience and perseverance, Paille would get his wish in the seasons that followed. The 04-05 season saw Paille join the Rochester Americans, Buffalo's AHL affiliate, as the NHL spent the year in a lockout. Paille played pretty well for the Americans as he scored 14 goals and 15 assists for 29 points in 79 games during his first season as a pro. This production was good enough to help Rochester make the playoffs, where Paille notched 4 points in 9 playoff games, but Rochester were eliminated in the second round by the Manitoba Moose. After a modest beginning to his pro career, Paille was looking to continue his development and improve his point production. As he did so, it wouldn't be long before he caught the eyes of the NHL. The 05-06 season saw Paille take to the ice with the Americans once again and score 14 goals and 13 assists for 27 points in 45 games. However, the highlight of his season came when he was called up to the Buffalo Sabres roster. 3 years after he was drafted, Paille was finally getting his chance to play in the best league in the world. Paille played in 14 games with Buffalo that season and scored a single goal and 2 assists for 3 points in his first taste of NHL action. However, both the Sabres and the Rochester Americans missed out on the playoffs, so Paille didn't take part in any postseason action that season. The 06-07 season saw Paille begin the year in Rochester once again, as the forward looked to impress the Sabres management and earn another call-up to Buffalo. After scoring 7 goals and 14 assists for 21 points in 29 games to start the season, Paille would get his wish, as Buffalo called him up to their roster. As Paille returned to Buffalo, the Canadian forward looked to finally cement himself as an NHL roster player. Paille improved on his production to start his second stint with the Sabres, as he scored 3 goals and 8 assists for 11 points in 29 games. This production was good enough to help Buffalo make the playoffs, where Paille went pointless in a single game, but the Sabres were eliminated in the conference finals by the Ottawa Senators. Paille had worked his way into the NHL and was beginning to live the life as a player in the top league in the world, but the best was yet to come. After the season ended and his entry-level contract had expired, Paille signed a 1-year, one-way, $535,000 contract with the Buffalo Sabres to remain with the team. The 07-08 season saw Paille start the year on Buffalo's roster as the former first-round pick scored 19 goals and 16 assists for 35 points in 77 games in his first full season in the league. These numbers were the best single-season point production of Paille's entire NHL career. Wow, you can tell that Paille was more of a defensively minded, penalty-killing role player with career-high stats like that, can't you folks? Whilst Paille would have a career year with Buffalo, the Sabres would miss out on the playoffs for the first time since the 04-05 lockout. As his 1-year extension with the Sabres expired, and after a much improved season for Paille, on July 16th, 2008, the Sabres re-signed Paille to a 2-year, $2.2 million contract extension worth an average annual value of $1.2 million a season. Just like that, Paille had earned his first proper NHL contract and was looking to become a key player for the Sabres in the years that followed. The 08-09 season saw Paille's numbers dip from his career highs the season prior, as the Canadian forward scored 12 goals and 15 assists for 27 points in 73 games. Whilst Paille would still put up decent numbers, Buffalo were unable to make the playoffs once again as they missed out on the postseason for the second straight year. Paille was settling in nicely as a bottom six forward and key penalty killer in Buffalo, but his time with the Sabres was quickly coming to an end. The 09-10 NHL season saw Paille suit up for Buffalo once again as he looked to help the Sabres return to the postseason. However, on October 20th, 2009, only 2 games into the season, Paille was traded to the Boston Bruins in exchange for a 3rd round pick and conditional 4th round pick in the 2010 entry draft. Just like that, Paille was moving away from the team that drafted him 7 seasons ago and was heading to New England to put on the black and gold of the big bad Bruins. Paille spent the rest of the season with Boston and put up okay numbers, as he potted 10 goals and 9 assists for 19 points in 74 games. He also added 2 assists in 13 playoff games, as the Bruins made it to the playoffs, but they were eliminated in the second round by the Philadelphia Flyers. After the season ended and his 2-year contract that he signed back with Buffalo had expired, on July 1st, 2010, Paille signed a 2-year, $2.15 million contract extension worth an average annual value of $1.075 million a season to remain with the Bruins. After joining the team early in the season, Paille was starting to feel at home in New England, and his decision to remain with the team would pay almost immediate dividends. The 10-11 NHL season saw Paille suit up for the black and gold of Boston once more and score 6 goals and 7 assists for 13 points in a season limited to just 43 games for Paille due to injuries. This production was good enough to help Boston make the playoffs, where Paille potted 6 points in 25 games as Boston beat Vancouver in the finals to clinch the 2011 Stanley Cup. Just like that, Paille had helped Boston win their first cup in over 30 years and had achieved what every hockey player around the world dreams of in just his second season with the original 6 franchise. The 11-12 NHL season saw Paille have a healthier, slightly more productive season compared to the year prior, as the former first-round pick scored 9 goals and 6 assists for 15 points in 69 games. This production was good enough to help Boston return to the playoffs, where Paille scored a single goal in 7 playoff games, but the defending Stanley Cup champions were eliminated in the first round by the Washington Capitals. After his 2-year contract with the Bruins had expired, Boston knew that they wanted to keep one of their top defensive forwards and key penalty killers around. So, on June 1st, 2012, they signed Paille to a 3-year, $3.9 million contract extension worth an average annual value of $1.3 million. The 12-13 NHL season began in a lockout, so Paille, like many other NHL players at the time, took his talents overseas, as he signed with Isles of the Finnish Liga. Until the NHL season began, Paille would be taking his talents outside of North America for the first time. But this wouldn't be the only time he did so in his career. Paille played pretty well for Isles as he potted 2 goals and 4 assists for 6 points in 9 games before the NHL season began and he returned to Boston. Paille continued to put up similar numbers to years prior when he returned to Boston, as he scored 10 goals and 7 assists for 17 points in 46 games during the lockout-shortened season. These numbers were good enough to help Boston return to the playoffs, where Paille notched 9 points in 22 games, but the Bruins were eliminated in the Stanley Cup Finals by the Chicago Blackhawks. So close, yet so far, Boston. The 13-14 NHL season saw Paille's point production continue to be consistent with years prior, as the penalty killer scored 9 goals and 9 assists for 18 points in 72 games. This helped Boston return to the postseason for the 7th straight year, where Paille put up a single goal in 7 games, but the Bruins were eliminated in the second round by the Montreal Canadiens. The 14-15 NHL season saw a slight dip in Paille's usual production, as the former first-round pick scored 6 goals and 7 assists for 13 points in 71 games. Whilst he would still put up decent numbers compared to his previous seasons, Boston would miss the playoffs for the first time in 8 seasons. After his 3-year contract extension with the Bruins had expired, Paille was informed that Boston would not be offering him a new contract. This meant that Paille would become an unrestricted free agent for the first time in his career at 31 years old. Paille remained as a UFA until September 13th, 2015, when he signed a PTO contract with the Chicago Blackhawks for the upcoming preseason. Paille was leaving the team he had spent over half a decade with and was beginning to see his career in the NHL fall beneath the cracks. The 15-16 season saw Paille play for the Blackhawks during preseason. However, as the preseason came to an end, the Blackhawks released Paille from his PTO. This prompted Paille to sign another PTO with the Rockford Ice Hogs, Chicago's AHL affiliate team. Just like that, Paille was heading to the minors for the first time in 9 years, but it wouldn't be long before he was back in the NHL. Paille remained in Rockford and scored 1 goal and 3 assists for 4 points in 31 games for the Ice Hogs until January 21st, 2016, when he signed a 1-year, 2-way contract with the New York Rangers. Paille wouldn't return to the NHL straight away though, as he was immediately assigned to the Rangers' AHL affiliate, the Hartford Wolfpack. Paille scored 5 goals and 6 assists for 11 points in 23 games with the Wolfpack before he was called up to the Rangers roster on April 20th, 2016. Paille had one last chance to show he could still play hockey at the NHL level. Did this stint with the Rangers prove that? Well, Paille's time with the Rangers was uneventful, as the former first-round pick went pointless in 12 games in New York to finish his rather busy 15-16 season. Due to a decline in his production and being past the prime years of his career, as the 2016 off-season arrived, Paille wasn't getting many offers from NHL teams. Paille decided, rather than wait in hope of a team eventually signing him, he would take his talents overseas once more, as he signed with Brynäs IF of the Swedish Hockey League. Just like that, Paille was heading to Europe once again, with the aim of showing that he still had gas left in the tank and could be a key contributor to a team in one of the top leagues in the world. The 16-17 season saw Paille suit up for Brynäs for the first time and have a strong first outing for the team, as the Canadian forward scored 12 goals and 13 assists for 25 points in 45 games. He also added 10 points in 20 playoff games as Brynäs made it to the postseason, but they were eliminated in the playoff finals by HV71. As the 2017 off-season arrived, both Brynäs and Paille felt that it would be a good fit if the forward remained with the team for the following season. So, Brynäs signed Paille for another year to take to the ice for the team during the 17-18 season. However, things didn't work out so well the second time around. The 17-18 season saw Paille have a good start in his second year in Sweden, as the former first-round pick scored 1 goal and 4 assists for 5 points in 14 games. However, everything turned upside down for Paille when he suffered a huge blindside check to the head from Thomas Larkin during a Champions Hockey League game between Brynäs IF and Adler Mannheim. Paille suffered a severe concussion and was unable to play as a result of the hit, so he was sidelined for the remainder of the season. After the season ended, Paille announced that he would not be playing hockey during the upcoming 18-19 season, and instead would be taking a step back from hockey to focus on rehabilitation from his concussion. To this day, Daniel Paille is still recovering from the concussion he suffered over a year ago. Whether he recovers and returns to hockey remains to be seen, but it could take years to recover completely or even partially from a concussion as bad as what Paille suffered. And at 34 years old, time is the one thing Paille's career is running out of. Even if he does fully recover, Paille will be approaching the twilight years of his career, so there will likely be little interest from teams around the world in signing him. I'm sure he would find a team somewhere that would want to take him, but chances are teams will be hesitant to take a chance on Paille since the concussion was so severe and it has taken him so long to recover from it. But regardless of how Paille's career ends, there's no doubt that he had a pretty successful NHL career. In 582 games, Paille scored 85 goals and 87 assists for 172 points, as well as scoring 19 points in 75 playoff games. Add to that a Stanley Cup championship and an award being named after him, And it's safe to say that this former first-round pick left a greater impact on the league than most. And there you go. That's what happened to Daniel Paille. What do you think about Paille's career? Was it good, bad, or do you think he should have stayed in the NHL and carried on killing penalties? Also, is there another player that you would like me to look at as part of this series? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you guys think. But thank you very much for watching, guys. I hope you have enjoyed. Please feel free to like, subscribe, share, or watch some of my other videos. Thank you very much for watching, and goodbye. A big thank you to Chris Gadsby and Max Artis for helping support this video via Patreon. If you too want to help support the channel a little bit further and get a shout out at the end of any future videos, make sure you head over to patreon.com/oddmanrush and become a patron today.